over 100 years that will be marked across the globe under a pandemic that has led to massive lockdowns, stay-at-home orders, and real-time social distancing guidelines. We celebrate all the workers in Nigeria and their dedication and sacrifices to drive a vibrant economy for the nation. Also, we recognize all the health workers who are at the front line of ensuring that the adverse impact of COVID-19 is mitigated across the globe. This year, we dedicate the Workers' Day to you. Thank you for your continuous support in fighting the virus and staying at home, while majority of the population work from home. We begin today with a story that coronavirus patients from Black African backgrounds are dying in United Kingdom hospitals at more than 3 times the rate of white British people, according to the Institute for Fiscal Studies. Its report today comes amid growing evidence that ethnic minority patients and frontline workers are far more likely to suffer serious consequences from the epidemic in terms of health. After stripping out the role of age and geography, Bangladeshi hospital fatalities are twice those of the white British group. Pakistani deaths are 2.9 times as high, and Black African deaths 3.7 times as high, the IFS said. On March 20th, employees from the newly formed Vodo Donut Workers Union delivered a letter to the management announcing the formation of a union and demanding higher wages, safety improvements, and severance packages for employees laid off because of the coronavirus and Oregon's ongoing shelter-in-place order. What employees here did is significant because it breaks from generally accepted union procedures in the US and may serve as a blueprint for how employees will respond to virus-related risks in the workplace. Instead of first going through the arduous process of a union election and contract negotiations, these workers used pressure tactics to push their bosses to meet their demands directly. The Indian government has said it will extend its nationwide lockdown for another 2 weeks after May 4th, but will allow considerable relaxations in lower-risk districts marked as green and orange zones under the government's plan to fight the novel coronavirus. Some activities will remain prohibited throughout the country, regardless of the zone, the Ministry of Home Affairs said in a statement. Those include travel by air, rail and metro and interstate movement of people by road, and schools and colleges, hotels, restaurants, shopping malls, city halls, and places of worship will remain closed. There will be no restriction on movement of goods between states and on the manufacturing and distribution of essential items, the ministry said. India's film industry would take at least 2 years to recover financially from the coronavirus pandemic, with its threatening big-ticket projects and putting at risk tens of thousands of jobs. That was the earnest assessment of about a dozen top producers, distributors, and actors from Bollywood, the movie industry in India's commercial capital of Mumbai, during a video conference this week. Prime Minister Giuseppe Conte apologized to Italians today for their economic hardships and promised a brighter future once the lockdown lifts. Italy will begin to emerge from the world's longest coronavirus shutdown on Monday and see whether 2 months of containment were enough to avoid a new contagion wave. Conte admitted his government was late to pay out more than 50 billion euros assigned to struggling families and businesses. I apologize on behalf of the government and assure you that we will continue to press for the payments and financing to be completed as soon as possible, Conte wrote on Facebook. President Emmanuel Macron warned that the end of the national lockdown on May 11 will only be a first step as France looks to pull out of the crisis created by the outbreak of the coronavirus. Traditional Labor Day protests that usually see thousands of demonstrators on streets were cancelled this year due to the virus outbreak that has killed 24,000 people across France. May 11 will not be the passage to normal life. There will be a recovery that will need to be reorganized, Macron said in a speech at the presidential palace after a meeting with horticulturists. There will be several phases, and May will not be one of them. The Hungarian Formula One Grand Prix, scheduled for August, can only go ahead without spectators, organizers said in a statement. The race at the Hungarian is due to take place on August 2nd, but Hungary yesterday said events with more than 500 participants cannot be held until August 15. It is now evident that any F1. The Speaker of Pakistan's National Assembly, Asad Quasar, said he had tested positive for COVID-19 after hosting an iftar dinner to celebrate Ramadan and meeting Prime Minister Imran Khan and other high officials earlier in the week. It is not immediately known if Khan will be tested again. He was checked in April and tested negative after meeting with the head of Pakistan's biggest charity organization, Faisal Edhi, who was subsequently confirmed to have caught the virus. I have quarantined myself, close aide to Khan said on Twitter. The 1st of May usually brings both protests, rallies, and celebrations or thrown out of work by the coronavirus crisis. Garment workers have been among the hardest hit as orders dry up and shutdowns leave factories shuttered, giving workers plenty to protest at a time when lockdowns are keeping them at home. Millions of jobs have vanished in countries like Bangladesh, Indonesia, Cambodia, and Myanmar that rely heavily on garment manufacturing as fashion brands cancelled or suspended billions of dollars worth of orders. New York State officials have warned that funeral homes could face fines and license suspensions after police found that one of such facilities in Brooklyn had resorted to storing dozens of bodies on ice of rested trucks. Authorities found that the Andrew T. Cleckley Funeral Home had rented 4 trucks to hold about 50 corpses, Health Commissioner Dr. Howard Zucker said yesterday. A neighboring business owner called 911 to report that fluids were leaking from one of the trucks, police said. Health officials issued guidance to all funeral homes that they would not tolerate any of that kind of behavior, Zucker said at the daily coronavirus briefing by New York Governor Andrew Cuomo. Almost 63,000 people have died of the coronavirus in the U.S., the majority of which were from New York. The Australian government will meet today to discuss how sport can restart as the number of new coronavirus cases dwindles and states begin to relax restrictions on social gatherings, 2 sources familiar with the details told Reuters news agency. Australia has reported about 6,700 cases of the new coronavirus and 93 deaths, significantly below the levels reported in the United States, Britain, and Europe. Growth in new infections has slowed to less than 0.5% a day compared to 25% a month ago. The agenda includes the principles for sports and other recreational activities, a source familiar with the cabinet's agenda told Reuters. Nigerian workers have been urged to invest in the Nigerian capital market in a bid to create wealth and save towards retirement. The advice was given by the Acting Director General of the Securities and Exchange Commission, Ms. Mary Udok, in a goodwill message on the commemoration of the 2020 International Workers' Day celebration. Udok urged workers to deliberately set aside some portions of their earnings towards investment in the capital market. She stated that capital market operations were still ongoing in spite of the COVID-19 pandemic, and urged workers to take advantage of the various opportunities for wealth creation that abound in the market. The SEC acting DG further stated that the Commission had adequate rules and regulations in place to ensure that workers' investments were safe, adding that one of the responsibilities of the SEC is protecting the integrity of the capital market from all forms of abuse, including insider dealing and market manipulations. Udok said the SEC also undertakes developmental activities to improve investor education and participation, promote new instruments, and encourage innovation in the market. Investors are also protected through the National Investors Protection Fund and risk-based supervision of capital market operators to ensure a transparent and efficient market in order to boost investors' confidence, she said. She further stated that the Commission, in collaboration with other stakeholders in the financial system, was making efforts to come up with various initiatives to address the issues of financial literacy and financial inclusion in the market. From ProShare and the WebTV Human Angle, we celebrate all workers today and acknowledge their dedication and sacrifice to the nation. And that will be all for this edition of the Human Angle. You can send your videos and pictures to news@proshareng.com or programs@proshareng.com, and let's share your experience and views. Visit our website www.proshareng.com to get more updates from our news stories and videos. Also follow our social media platforms showing on the screen for further updates on our market reports. Join us by 9 p.m. for our 9th segment, which will be streamed live on our again. Thank you for watching and do stay safe.